This YouTube channel, is this where you're going to broadcast like the Rice Steel Sal game and everything?
We're in, Coach. You're already talking. You've already jumped over the intro. If we had an intro, you would have jumped over it.
My bad. Sorry. Go ahead.
Folks, well, Chris Kolon, head coach Chris Kolon here in Kolon's Corner, never one to wait. Very anxious. He likes to go. He's got to get stuff done, folks. And so thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Kolon's Corner with the head coach of the University of Detroit Mercy Titans, Mr. Chris Kolon. How are you, Coach?
Hello, I'm great. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh, you know what? We could spend an entire hour on that. And we may just go to that, Coach, because again, Losi's locker room just isn't all about sports, because when you're in a locker room, you talk about all kinds of stuff. In my opinion, right, and my older son Jonathan and I have this debate often, and of course Matthew just picks a side, whatever is against his brother. But I say, yeah. I mean, I just have to, and it's a good debate to have too. And what's your take, Coach?
I'm going to say it's a Christmas movie. If you ever get the chance, a Ken Noom book called Tapping the Source is the book that inspired Point Break. Also, it's one of my favorite books.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Ken Noom, N-U-M. It's a great book.
I would like to read that because, I mentioned on my broadcast, I think I may have mentioned it on Saturday in your game, Coach, Johnny Utah and Bodhisattva, on-screen magic. I mean, it's
on-screen magic for sure.
It's cinema, cinema history, really, those two together. All right. Well, we could talk about this all day long, probably. And to quote Die Hard, I could talk about industrialization and men's fashion all day, but business must be done.
Yes, there you go.
All right, so Coach, so let's get right after it. A great day. I had a great day. I got to tell you, it was one of the most enjoyable days that I've had down at the University of Detroit Mercy. Game was interesting. We've said odd. If we go back and look at the tape, we had an odd game, and then we kind of had another odd game, and then we had one that we kind of let people back in, say Bonaventure, and then this one was very interesting. It was good. I thought it was great. What was your take?
Well, Siena's a team, and again, don't quote me exactly on this at this time of night, but what a hungry team, right? A well-coached team, and a team of kids that were really competing, and from week to week they've gotten so much better. I think they're with their record and everything, I think they're 0-4, but I think it's maybe 6 goals between being 4-0, right? So in classic MAC form, everything is really tight and really close, and they play really, really hard. We just happened to fight a little bit harder, I think, in the third and fourth quarter than they did, but very well coached. Hopefully in the future with us leaving the MAC, and our friend JP in Albany, that once in a while we might get over there and play them. But, it's been a great matchup between Siena and Detroit for a long time. And, maybe in the MAC tournament, we'll see them again, because anything is possible at this point with records and COVID. And I think true to a COVID year, that game was interesting, to say the least, and in a very COVID way. So,
yeah, I don't think I could say it like that, but it was. I was very impressed. I mean, when you look at it on paper, and I watched their first game, the non-MAC, the non-league game, right?
Right.
And I watched that game, and I was like, that's not so hot. And then I watched the second game against Cancius, and I'm like, wow. That Jack Kiernan, man, I mean, he was something. He was something in that game, and he's been something all year. And then he put a number on you guys. He was really impressive on Saturday as well.
Yep, he's that family has scored a lot of goals against us over the years, both him and his brother. So they're impressive people. It's if we have to see them again, we'll be. Who knows which way it'll go next time. But we're happy we got the win, and I'm happy that the way, especially the guys fought in the second half. I think we have a very talented group.
Yeah.
Sometimes doesn't always put the right amount of fight into everything.
Right.
And we're learning to do that during a COVID year. I think during a non-COVID year, that would be something very easily instilled through some more, fall practices and scrimmages and games and stuff. So we're learning what it takes to be a winning team. And even when things aren't falling, for Brett Erskine to shoot, 9 times and not score is not really him. But he's already over it. He's shooting again, and we're going to expect a better performance. Those are some of the COVID anomalies that just seem to happen during this season so far.
Yeah, and I mentioned I sent a tweet out and I talked about adversity as you and I have talked about that just in life in general, that we go through different periods of adversity. You're either in a storm, going through a storm, or leaving a storm. And you guys found yourselves down 3 goals in the third, and it was gut check time. And you mentioned Ski. I like to call him Ski, and I got that from his family. That's what he would do. It's a take on Wayne Gretzky but it was interesting that he had a couple of great looks. I mean, there was one point blank. I think it was the second quarter where he was all alone in front of the net. I mean, nobody there, and he didn't score.
Hit the goalie's foot or something like that, right?
And then, sure enough, as we get into the third, he rode hard. I mean, he rode hard. I mean, that was one thing I was very impressed too. I mean, you guys rode hard. The attackmen were not scoring. I mean, he had 50 shots, right?
Right.
And he picked one up at midfield, got a loose ball, skied in, took the late hit. You got the man up, and then you got another one on a hard ride where the goalie fell out of the goalie's stick again. And it was manufacturing goals. I said that Jars scores, right? You get
Jars in his career, 1,000 faceoffs, tons of goals, pretty dominating in conference. I didn't realize this till after. That was the first time he's actually scored on Titan Field.
Really?
Which is wild to me, right? Like, I think that's absolutely wild.
Wow.
All the goals and great things he's done over his career, and that was first for him.
That one out.
Crazy.
Is that a PJ special?
It's a PJ special. I couldn't believe it.
Of course it is. That would have been one where Sean Higgins from Stetson Miller would have run out there, grabbed the ball, written on it, and given it to him.
Yeah, we didn't know. We just didn't know. I assume that has happened multiple times on that field. It's crazy.
Well, he was impressive again. I mean, on the season, 62 and 92, 67, over 67% face-off winning percentages. I mean, he is, and I said the same thing about Logan, right? So, and one thing we wanted to mention, Logan became the winningest goaltender in Titan history in terms of number of wins. And, really for both of them, we've seen them consistently be just outstanding, right? And you almost for granted, right? So, I mean, Logan's making saves and my calls are, oh, real shot there. Oh, Logan, good save. And you go back and you watch the film and you go, wow, that was a lot more impressive than I gave it credit for in real time. The same thing with Jars.
Yeah, I mean, and both of them have grown so much. I've been with them, coaching them since I've been watching them since almost middle school, right? I remember when Logan got a birthday cake that was a UTM birthday cake. I think when he was maybe a freshman in high school or something like that. When I was walking through, Ultimate Soccer one time, and he had a birthday party. It's just amazing to see them become young men and be so independent and still continue to work on their craft and go through a few ups and downs in it, and really just become consistently great at it. So I'm very proud of Logan's record, and he deserves it. And he's going to continue to add to it as time goes on this year. And I think it's going to be a tough one to beat.
Yeah, well, same thing with Jars. I mean, both of them. And, you talk about those things and you talk about, knowing them for so long and their development and them becoming the men that they are. And that really goes towards what, you and others before you have built at the University of Detroit Mercy. It really is that. And I've talked about it many, many times about the culture and just about the, being close, right? I mean, it's just growing. I mean, and you can just tell it's just a team atmosphere. It's a team, and they're together. While they may struggle at times, as you mentioned,
right?
Gut check's got to come a little bit more, but really that cohesiveness as a group just seems to go on every single year.
Yeah, and it's our philosophy is that winning doesn't lead; it follows. Excellent behavior and teamwork, and we can that's a long, very long Kolon's corner to go into team culture and all the things that we do. And
I know.
I'm very, very, very proud of them because we haven't been able to work on a lot of that stuff because of restrictions,
Right.
and especially our upperclassmen and guys that returned really kind of carrying that through to the younger guys without any real leadership from the coaching staff or Dr. Don or any of the stuff that we normally do. I feel very fortunate that they've been righting the ship on their own. And I think as adults, right, with any of our kids, right, what we want them to do is to be, independent and on their own. And it's been very cool for me to see this year. While it hasn't always been perfect, watching them be independent leaders and keep the team together without us kind of being in the way as adults has been a real joy. And probably the thing, whatever happens with the MAC, if we win a MAC tournament or win a national championship, I think that'll probably be what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you talk about really what we've gone through, over a year now. And it's those things that we're going to look back. People always say, well, you're going to look back at that. It's just that time. And I think I said this to you, and I said to a number of people early on during this, I said, listen, we're all as adults going to get frustrated at times, and it's going to wear on us. But as you've got kids and as you got other people that really look up to you, think about how they're going to remember this time and how they're going to remember you and how you handled this time. And I was very cognizant of that with my kids. And yeah, I went off, at times. And if you follow me on Twitter, Losi, you'll know that I get heated a couple of times now and again. But in the end, we've gotten through it. Hopefully, we're closer to the other side. I think we are.
Yep.
And, I think there's some positives to take out of the way that we have, really handled it as adults.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm vaccinated now. I'm pretty happy about it. Still got to be a good leader and example through. And as we get closer, you're seeing some of the colleges and larger events, larger places saying they're going to, come back as in person and so a group of rules and.
Yep.
And hopefully through the summer and everything, we can have a degree of normalcy. And then hopefully by the fall, everything will be kind of back to normal or a new normal. And we can all look back on this and say, never again, I hope.
Yeah,
which will be something else down the road too, right? So
always going to be something. As I mentioned, you're either entering a storm, you're in a storm, you're in a storm. And this situation for us as as human beings and as a society, that is very apropos. All right, well let's jump on to next week's opponent. You got Cancius, and I mentioned this in the broadcast when I was looking at next week's game, and I saw the 10 a.m. start, and I said 10 a.m. I mean, is this roller coaster rumble from 5 years ago tournament, or what's the story with the 10 a.m. coach?
Well, we're both Jesuit institutions, right? So if Dembski Field, it's one of the cooler facilities. They run baseball, softball, lacrosse, soccer. It's this weird kind of multi-use turf area, and really the Cancius school does a really nice job of, their AD is a great guy and a good friend to us, and he runs MAC Lacrosse. He's kind of the MAC representative. He's been a great friend. And so they just run so many things. So
lot.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we had two options. We had 2:00 on Sunday, Easter Sunday, to play, which, we didn't really like that. Or then we had Friday, but then both Catholic institutions weren't allowed to play during the Passion. So we're going to be done by the Passion, back on the bus, kind of doing our thing quietly on the road. And that was it. We couldn't go later because I think of a baseball game after the Passion. So that 10 a.m. stuck.
It is what it is.
And it's an interesting time. And Cancius has always been an interesting opponent for us over the years. And Buffalo has been we've enjoyed playing there. But I'll tell you, going back a couple of years for these seniors, when they lost to Cancius in that kind of heartbreaking MAC championship, we haven't beaten Cancius since then.
Really?
So yeah, it's a weird stat, and you almost kind of miss it with all the kind of ups and downs that we've had since then, and with a lot more ups than downs. And I'll tell you, that's going to be a very meaningful game for that group, and it's been made clear that it's a game they're going to take very serious. And so it's a good one to be tuned into on a Friday morning, good Friday morning, while you're either at work or at home or whatever you're doing with a cup of coffee. And we're looking to play a really good game. They play really hard, Canisius, and they're very well coached, as most teams are, and they'll have a great game plan against us. Well, hopefully our game plan will be good too. And I can tell you, it's going to, sometimes it can be a real street fight between the two of us. So,
well, that's
I'm
MAC.
looking forward to it.
That's really the MAC. I mean, every game that we've been in has been, it's grinded out, right? I mean, just the ups and the downs, the ebbs and the flows. It always runs in lacrosse. That's what makes the sport so, wonderful to watch and follow. But it's even more so from an emotional standpoint that I've seen in our game so far this year. Yeah, the 10 a.m. start, I'm good with it. I'll actually be watching poolside, Coach, as I will.
Nice.
I will be heading down south with my family.
For the Naples, is that where you're going?
Yep, my mom's got a place down there. So, I tried and I failed miserably with the live in the D pregame this year or last week, Coach, because I didn't anticipate the loudspeaker to have the decibel level of a 7 taking off. And it really did not bode well for the audio, which people tuned in and they thought it was a joke. And then as it continued, because I see the numbers of people that go on, and they're on for like 9 minutes. That was like the average, and then they were done. So, but I was talking about doing a pregame live from the D in Naples.
Oh, there you go.
And we'll see what we'll get going. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game. I mean, you've had interesting road trips already. Right. The trip to Manhattan we talked about, and now you've got this at 10 a.m. start. But I mean, it's just what you got to do, and I think it's building. And as you mentioned, you're starting to see some maturation within the team in terms of adversity, and then having the gut check. And I think this will just add to it.
Yep, and that's why we play the game. It's gonna be. We like going to Buffalo a lot. I think we'll continue to play Canisius post every year. Post us being in the MAC, we'll just play them earlier in the year, and it's a good fight. A lot of respect, and but also a lot of these two teams that want to beat each other really bad. So it's good.
And let me ask you, as you move away from the MAC next season, has there been, as you interacted with the coaches, in these games, has there been any discussions? Like this is the kind of the tour, the Detroit Mercy Titan World Tour, where you get a rocking chair, like when someone retires or anything like that.
No, I think because of the uncertainty of how the MAC tournament is going to look, because we still haven't gotten, what the semifinals and maybe a quarterfinal, semifinal, or finals is going to look like. We could be back in Canisius again, so we never know what I mean, we could be back in Manhattan, we could be back, so we don't know when that last time is going to be. So we're kind of nobody, and again, because it's so tight.
Right.
I don't think anybody's going to have any nostalgia until that MAC tournament is over. Then, maybe, and again, these MAC coaches are good, a lot of respect, good friends. We'll probably, as we go on the recruiting circuit in the summer, we hope, then we'll have a couple moments of reflection back after the games are over. So not right now. Now we want to kill each other. So
that's the way it works. Step across the line and grab your sword. One interesting thing that I noticed in just doing some prep work, and I'll do more as we get closer to game time. You've got Shamrock on Shamrock at the X. You got a little battle of CCs at the face-off, Coach.
Yeah, and I don't know if they really know each other or if they've ever. I don't think they've ever taken a draw against each other, and especially that position in the local thing. A lot of guys, work in the summer together and kind of know each other a little bit, and maybe go in the summer league against each other. These guys have never gone against each other. I think that would probably be a very interesting matchup to watch. I think that alone would be a reason to tune into the game.
No question about it. Yeah, I mean,
Beals is a good player, and Jars is a great player, and Beals is a great player. It's going to be really fun to watch.
You look at his numbers, and he's doing his thing. There's no question about that. So I'm going to find that very, very interesting. Hopefully, Dave Wilson, head coach at CC, will be tuning in as well on Friday. Shout out to Dave.
Very well.
So that's exciting, Coach. So moving along, pushing forward. You guys sit at 2-1 in the conference. And one thing that jumps out at me when I take a look at the standing is that Marist is 0-0.
Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, we played them in that non-conference conference game, right? And since then, they have been really shut down because of a very large COVID outbreak on campus. Their kids have all tested negative. They've done everything they need to do. They're a very, very disciplined group. It's a real shame that because of some other people's behavior that they haven't been able to, practice, do anything. And I know Coach Wilkinson pretty well at this point after a lot of competing, and I know he's done a pretty amazing job keeping them together. They're trying to make up the games. It's going to be a real disadvantage for Marist, but they're an excellent team. I would expect them.
Right.
I think they're playing Monmouth first, right? Right off the bat. Boy, they're going to be pretty pent up when they come off that game. So
yeah, it was interesting listening to the broadcast in your non-conference game and the broadcasters out there, and they did a nice job. They kept talking about the fact that they're finally back and that they only had a couple of days of practice before they came into your game. And then to get that win over you, emotions running, and then really to be shut down, it really is, it's just, it's disheartening that, as you mentioned, other people not doing what they need to do. And to a certain degree, I think being a little bit selfish and, hurting that team. So, fingers crossed for them to get back moving. Let's get some games for them under their belt so they don't have to do it all together in a week and a half.
You got it. So that's what we're hoping for. They those kids deserve it. They got some pretty good kids over there that we like and respect. So we're hoping that it works out for them.
All right. So quick keys for the game Saturday, Coach, from your squad.
It's going to be a fist fight, and we got to be ready for it. We're training, and the face-off X is going to be important. We're going to have to take the most of any opportunity we get, and we're going to have to limit what they do, especially in transition. They've gotten us in transition quite a bit over the last couple of years, and we're going to have to stop them, and we're going to also have to capitalize on it. So we're going to look for us to be pretty good in that transition game, and I think the face-off battle could be the difference in the game, and it's going to be an excellent game to watch.
Yeah,
on a Good Friday. So
I agree. I'll be watching it from Naples, as I said, poolside. What else, Coach? What can we hit real quick as we wrap this up?
You got any high school games this week? I think they're starting up, right?
Yeah. I before your game on Saturday, I was down in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I did the broadcast for Brother Rice, their first game in 656 days since their state championship win. June 9th, 2019. So this is the first time that Brother Rice had stepped on the field as a team against Hamilton Southeastern. A new for them, and I don't know if you know much about their program and Scott Beasley down there, but I got to tell you, he was quite an impressive guy. He worked very hard to get the game in. We ended up playing at Indiana Tech, and they did a great job down there, and their staff, and really nice campus, and just overall very impressed with the trip. Drove down, drove back, got up, came down, did live in the D, which failed miserably, and then your game.
You'll get live in the D right.
Huh?
You'll get it right.
Get it. I'm gonna have to move somewhere else, Coach. I'd love to do it inside Callahan. That's gonna be my dream.
We can make that happen.
I get to do that courtside back where I used to shoot the J.
We can make that happen.
That happened for sure. And then so we're going. Games are going. It's interesting with the high school. You've got Easter vacation. And so you've got teams out right now. You look at Seaholm in the area. They were in the district finals for basketball, and they went on spring break. And the JV went in and played Brother Rice and lost by, a good margin. And so it's, as you get started, and then you got to shut down, and then you go on spring break, and then you got come back with, with potential for COVID. So we're not out of the woods in the state of Michigan by any means necessary, which is why I've stressed to everybody, you got to get it in now. When you can get it in, because you don't know what's around the corner.
You got it.
Yep. So that's it, Coach. Well, good luck on Friday, 10 a.m. Everybody tune in. Do we have any streaming information, Coach?
You gotta check the website for that. I'm not sure. I was not prepared for that answer. They usually do a pretty good job out there with the stream, whether it's on ESPN or their own through the website. I know something will be accessible.
Okay, thank goodness, because Harry Erkstein out there, he's very he's got he needed to know Sunday, Coach. He's like, what are we doing? What are we doing for the next game? And I said, listen, Harry, I'm gonna be in Naples, but if I have to watch it on the screen and then broadcast what I'm seeing on the screen, I will.
There you go.
You can't rest, right, Coach?
No, you can't rest, not during COVID.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck on Friday, and have a good, happy, and safe Easter, and safe travels out to Buffalo, New York. Let's get a win here. Let's get to 3-1, put you in the right spot where we need to be, regardless of what they do with the MAC, because you don't know if everybody's going to make it. You guys got to win, and you got to get yourself in the right spot.
Yeah, we gotta beat these guys. It's been a little bit too long for me, so we're gonna go after them.
Be thinking about that for sure. I'll tweet it out later tonight as well. So thank you for joining me again as you're watching Kolon's Corner here on Losie's Locker Room YouTube channel. Please hit subscribe. I'm up to 100 subscribers now, and if I hit that 1,000, then I can live stream via my phone. I've got a couple of games out there. I'm going to be doing some games around the state of Michigan, Coach. You'll find this interesting, is that I've been talking to a couple of high schools, Jenison High School. They invited me up to do one of their games this year.
Oh, cool.
Some other ones, and really get out, because it's just fun, right? I mean,
right. How cool.
I enjoy doing this. It's fun for me. And I think, we can kind of make something fun out of it. Like, who knows? I mean,
yeah, it's super exciting. And it's I'll probably watch that game now that way.
I get it. It's a healthy hobby for me. It's something I enjoy doing. I wish I would have started doing this 20, 30 years ago. But why not? Right. I mean, I think
it's great.
Just do what makes you happy. And you got your priorities. If your priorities are in line, you got a hobby, go ahead and do it, because, you only go around this crazy world once, But as Bodhisattva says, Coach, what's he say? He said, obviously, you got to go when you can go, right?
Biocone Demos, yeah, or whatever.
Right, you don't want that in your metal coffin driving along the road the whole time, right, Coach?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Bell's Beach. All right, Coach. Thanks, buddy.
All right.